for those who haven't had the opportunity to do much of the hands-on yet, just sort of a bit of a catch-up that, we should have already gone through these commands with, we need to tell OSM about, where the K8s cluster is. Actually, there is one additional command in here that we need to run, and that's about the Helm chart repository. And I'll get into that in a moment. But has anyone had issues with the creation of the is everyone good with their repository ad, or do we need to double check that? So we are going to add one more thing, and that is this right down here, this OSM repository ad type Helm chart repository for Facebook Magma Helm chart. So I am actually going to go into my session here and execute these commands now. Is this screen large enough for everyone to see? Oh, I already created that one. I'm going to... Has anybody done the K8s cluster ad yet? That's already been done? Are we good with adding this right now, or if we're not ready for that, then we can sort of skip over this to make up the because we are running a little over.
I didn't get you. Lost your audio. What did you ask?
The OSM K8s cluster ad. Mm-hmm. Is it okay that people start doing this now? Because we're planning on doing the deployment of the network slice from the repositories right now.
Okay. So no, it's not going to be a demo as agreed.
Okay, this one. Okay, well then. Then basically what Felipe went through is everything that is needed. Then, the only thing was going to be we can just walk through here, and I can say that there's some things that we need to tell OSM about, and that is. As we mentioned, the OpenStack Vim, we've already done that. The K8s cluster, we'll be doing that later. Repositories for OSM packages and repositories for Helm charts are two additional things that we would need to add. So the OSM packages that we're going to be going through this week, we have packages for Magma, for the radio, and the gateway, which is the physical network function, or PNF, that was based on VIOS. I think Felipe may have just gone through this with the NF package repository list and NF package and NS package list. So if you've added your repository, you should be able to see the 4 network function packages and 3 network service packages. In order to deploy something, this is the equivalent of a download, basically. We will eventually be registering the VIOS physical network function, and that's just simply doing an OSM PDU create, and that should get us all of the environment, all of the descriptors and everything that we need in order to be able to run the rest of the Hackfest. So eventually we're going to be doing the network slice create, which will deploy the entire network slice, which is the radio, the Magma VEPC, the Magma orchestrator, and attached to the physical router. It takes about 5 minutes for all of that to run up. And when you go and you take a look at what got created in OSM, these 3 things that are highlighted here are what will be visible. So later on, you can go in, you can see in the VNF instances, we have those VNFs that were created as part of the deployment. And there will be 2 network services running. One that is the eNode B and radio, and that creates 2 VNFs here. and the second one being the Magma orchestrator. We will be able to log into Magma. There are some commands here that will be able to show you where your Magma IP is after your deployment is complete. We can see that the A gateway would have automatically registered and a subscriber added automatically due to the day one primitives that we have in place. There's some commands to be able to show checking on the status. And lastly, we can actually VNC towards the cell phone. At which point, if you try and connect to the internet from the cell phone, you're not going to get anywhere, because that's what this week is all about, is showing the rest of the orchestration to be able to do the end-to-end service and show how all the pieces fit together. This is the sort of work, I'm not asking everybody to do this hands-on section right now, because there's a lot of flipping back and forth between screens. People are still getting their environment sorted out and everything. But I'm going to go through a quick little, this is what it's going to feel like to launch things. So you kind of get an idea, get to see what it's going to look like. So if we take a look right now, I have added, oh, I'm sorry, I have not yet added. I'm jumping around on myself here. So from the previous session that Felipe was showing, we were talking about adding the OSM repository. Some of you may have done this already, some of you may have not. If you have not, don't worry about it. There's going to be more opportunity to play with the packages. Probably we're going to be working with some of them right from sources, so that way you can do a lot of hands-on editing. So I wouldn't worry too much about the OSM repository if if it's giving you a problem. We can look at that more a little bit later. So I have added that, and really, there's not all that much to show here, other than to say that it can query the remote repository and give me a list of packages that are available. Once I know what packages are available and what packages I want to use, I can actually use OSM commands to pull these packages out of the repository and bring them into my open source MANO. So if I log in here, OSM Hackfest 51, because I happen to be user 51. Oh, well, isn't this lovely? Sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and delete some of these here, because these are things that don't need to be here right now. So if I go in and I take a look, this is the OSM screen, and here we've got the list of packages, network slice packages, and network function descriptor packages. And I can see I've got none in here, but I do have an OSM remote repository that I can query and find out what packages are available. So from here, from the CLI, I'm now going to actually say, create these packages from the remote repository. So when I do this, what it does is it downloads the packages from the repository into my local OSM. Received a message and my chat is gone again. I have to wait for that magical opportunity when the pop-up happens to catch it. So then I'll go ahead and create the network services. Whoops. Network services here. So when I create the network services, that then populates the network service packages in here. So the one thing that I unfortunately need to do is I need to clean up and delete
In the meantime, a little bit of clarifications about the
Yes.
repositories feature. This is a new feature, as it has been mentioned, and we are showing you that you can actually, instead of downloading a package from a shared drive or receiving it through email or downloading it from any other place and then uploading it into OSM manually, there's a new tool that you can use to interact with OSM repos. OSM repos are nothing but a web server that has a predictable structure that OSM understands, as Felipe explained. So this is the new way that we are going to share DNF packages that are onboarded in OSM in the future. And what Mark is doing, he's connecting to the repo where we have the final packages of what we are building this week, final thing. You won't understand many of those contents because we have not gone through the theory and the examples of each feature. That's why we're not doing hands-on right now on this. But we think that you should see the end-to-end first to have a vision on what you are building. And next, we will start building it from scratch. This is what is going to happen starting today. So today, Mark is showing the end-to-end. Then we will start building piece by piece until Wednesday, when you get the whole thing like Mark is showing today. Okay.
Thanks. That also gave me the opportunity to finish cleaning up here. So we'll be doing, if you haven't already, we're doing the Vim create and the cluster add. I'm just doing that as part of my sort of housekeeping here. So if I take a look in my open source MANO now, I can see I have a Vim account and I have a Kubernetes account, which is OSM right now is just querying the state of it, getting some information and syncing up with the existing Kubernetes cluster that's been deployed. The OpenStack one, because it's pretty much just a OpenStack RC file that we need, doesn't need to do as much, but Kubernetes does take a little bit longer to finish processing and add all the things that it needs. So I believe I have my Helm chart already. So OSM repositories has been added, and Kubernetes repository has not been added yet. So this will be a command that will be needed, Jean-Petro, tomorrow for Helm chart?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. So if I go back to my OSM now, I should see there's my Helm chart repository that's been added. Here is my Kubernetes that's still processing. That seems to be longer than normal, but then again, there are a lot of users online right now, so. It's got my little, well, it looks like it is still running here. Oh, this doesn't look good. Oh wait, somebody's deploying. Sorry, that's not me. Hopefully, it's not me, because I was looking at logs of everybody. Okay, I don't think we're getting out of this processing state here. I think we may have to come back to this demo.
Yes, since you had the case clustering error state and it used the same name, probably that's the reason. Can you try and recreate it with another name, please?
Okay. Kate's 2.
And I will force the deletion of the other one.
Okay. This is how we know it's real software and not a canned demo. Unfortunately, the powers that be that control demos don't seem to be on my side today. It's waiting to see if this will go out of the processing state or not. While that's happening, so we downloaded that. We onboarded our packages. There are NetSlice templates are newer, and we have not got to the point of bringing them into the VNF repository yet. So while we wait for that to process in the background, I'm actually going to show the fetch of the packages from Git, because there is a NetSlice descriptor that I need from there that is not available in the repository right now. So I can go ahead and do this. And this is the Git clone that probably tomorrow everyone will eventually be doing. So what that's basically done is it's fetched the sources for this. And these are things that you will be working on throughout the week. So I can go ahead and create my NetSlice now. And then if I go back to my OSM and look, it looks like I'm still stuck in processing state.
Yeah, it seems that the cluster is overloaded because many people have just thrown the commands.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe we can go back to the demo after continuing with the session of multi-VDU.
Okay, that sounds great then.
Yeah,
All right,
sorry
well,
if there was a confusion. We're not supposed to do the hands-on on this. It was just a demo that Mark was running to demonstrate that the end-to-end. So now that the cluster was not prepared for all the users, it is complaining about resources. And that's why Mark's demo is not working. But anyway, we will continue with the next session, which will actually show you how to start building this from scratch, okay?
thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of the session.